Hello everyone. So today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be part 2 of like where I've been, and like this one's going to be talking about how I met my husband, my life in Georgia, all those good things. So I'm sorry if you can hear the air conditioning going. I know people apologize for that like all the time in videos, but it is very hot in Georgia, and I'll get to that, but it's very hot in Georgia. So I kind of need the air on. So my last video, let's just jump right into it. My last video, I left off talking about my job in Eugene, working for the property management company. I was originally got hired on as like a front desk position, and then I got promoted to inspections of single family homes was my official title. Again, one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. I loved my people. Like when I go back and visit Oregon, I always go and visit them, or at least I did the last time I was home, and I will in the future because they're pretty much like family at this point. So I got my job there, and then I worked there for like a couple months, and there's kind of a couple details I'm gonna leave out just because like it's just kind of hard to explain without like getting to answer questions and things like that. But basically, I dated a guy from this one family that I ended up growing really close to, and then things went south with them, but I'm not going to get too much into it, to be honest. And then my husband, Ray, had dated another, like the daughter of that same family, and then that family ended up setting us up together because they're like, we think you guys would be perfect together. And then they set us up, and then we started talking, and then we've been kind of like talking ever since. So it's kind of wild. Like our whole story is kind of wild, but like, anyways, okay, let's just start talking about more details when it comes to Ray and I. So Ray and I, so basically he friend requested me on Facebook. I was in Charleston because I was going to be going to the College of Charleston. So I was visiting South Carolina. I was in an airport around like 2:00, I think. I just remember like all the details of it. But I was at Chicago O'Hare Airport waiting for my flight home and back to Eugene. And he had friend requested me, and I accepted it. And then I remember texting the mom of the family, and I was like, he just friend requested me. And then like I was asking questions about him because I was kind of curious. Like they just literally kept bringing it up, like, you guys would be perfect. Oh, this, that, and this and about him. And oh, he's like this. And I'm like, okay, like, but I wasn't really interested because, like, I don't know, I just wasn't really interested at first. And then, basically, he friend requested me, and I was sitting at the airport, and I was texting her, and then she's like, message him. I'm like, okay, like, you know, like, I just get really nervous about that kind of stuff, and I didn't want it to be weird, so then I messaged him on Facebook, and I was like, hey. And then he messaged me back, and he was like, hi, or something, or hey, and then we just kind of started talking from there, and then we just kind of never stopped. For the most part, yeah, like, we pretty much just kept talking, and then I wasn't interested. What's funny is, like, I wasn't interested in Ray when we first, like, got together. Like, I had him in, like, I call it the friend box. He calls it the friend zone, but I call it the friend box, and I was just, because I just didn't really, like, it was just nice having someone to talk to without, like, oh, man, like, you know, I feel super nervous because I like him and I don't want this to, like, you know, rub him, like, this way, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you like someone, sometimes you just find yourself being a little bit more cautious and, like, not as open with them because, like, just being vulnerable is kind of hard. And I really liked talking to him, and it was hard to, that was kind of the thing, but also, this is just kind of all over the place, and I apologize, but I had tried doing long distance with the son of that family that I had dated, how I met Ray, basically, but I had tried doing long distance multiple times, and it just never worked, whether it was, like, a couple towns over, or it's literally, like, across, you know, the United States. So, and then I was just like, you know, I knew he was, at the time, Ray was in Korea, so he was, like, 16 hours ahead of me, like, the time zone was just crazy, and yeah, he was ahead of me, and then when he was coming back, I knew he was stationed in Georgia, so I'm kind of like, what kind of future are we going to have, like, what, am I just going to fly back and forth, like, you know, to Georgia all the time, you know what I mean, like, I just was like, and it just, in my opinion, I didn't feel like long distance would really work because it hadn't worked for me in the past. So that was another reason why I was kind of like, no, like, you know, I need to find someone closer to home. So the more Ray and I talked, like, kind of like, he definitely started liking me. And then again, he was kind of in the friend box. And then all of a sudden, just one day, it just kind of hit me like a truck. Like, I like him, you know what I mean? And then I remember like thinking like, okay, like if I tell Ray I like him, there's just no going back from here. I need that. And things kind of started going south with that family. And then I don't know, but I couldn't let go of Ray. Like, just something in me was just kind of like, you know, like you can't tell him goodbye. And there's a lot of details, but yeah, he was in the friend box. And then I knew Ray liked me, because like they kept telling me, and it was also kind of obvious, like, and I'm oblivious to things, but I could tell that he kind of liked me. And again, like, I just wasn't really that interested, just because I didn't know what kind of future would be there. And then I'm sorry, there's just a lot of information. I'm just trying to like weed it all through my brain. I remember like, because we would say like, I would be like, tell me something, because like at first when Ray and I would talk, it was me doing a lot of the talking, and then eventually I kind of became more quiet because I was waiting for him to kind of initiate the conversation more. And then once he did that, that's when I was like, okay, like, I see you, you know what I mean? Like, I see you. And then, so I'd be like, tell me something. And then we, like, that's what we do a lot. And like, we would just talk all the time, and we'd FaceTime a lot as well, and just texting all the time. And he was 16 hours ahead in Korea. So like, time difference was a little tricky at first, but then we figured it out. And yeah, but I remember like I was driving, and I told Ray, because I remember he had said something. I was like, tell me something I don't know. And he was like, you know, or something like you wish you knew about me, or something like that. And he's like, I wish I knew how you felt about me. And that just like really resonated in my head. And I don't know why, but I like still remember that, you know? And then I remember just kind of thinking on it, and it was either that day or like the next day. I remember I like was driving, getting food or coffee or something. Told me something, and I was like, okay. I'm like, I kind of sort of like you. And then he got all smiling, and it was really cute. And then we just kind of took off from there. And he was planning on coming home for Christmas for holiday block leave. That was his whole plan. So he was gonna like wanted to ask me to be his girlfriend, and I was kind of like, oh wait, because I thought that things were gonna fizzle out, not because I didn't like think things were gonna work out between us, but just because it's what had happened for me in the past. Like, it's good right now, and then give it a couple months, and then things just kind of like, you know, end up like not working out. And so that's kind of what I was expecting. And then him and I just kept talking, and like we'd talk all the time. We'd literally FaceTime all the time. And like I'd fall asleep and we'd be FaceTiming. I'd wake up and we were still FaceTiming. Like, it was crazy. It was awesome. Like, I love that that's how our story started. But we had not met in person at this point. Like, mind you that, okay? So we were supposed to meet out on holiday block leave. And like, the closer I got to block leave, I think it was like October or something, or end of September, and I was like, you know, I can't wait to meet you. Like, I need to, like, it needs to be sooner than block leave. I'm like, what if I came and visited you for Thanksgiving? Because I already knew I had 2 days off. He had some time off for Thanksgiving, like a couple days and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, the timing seems to kind of work. So for my Christmas present, my stepmom, Laura, and my mom, like, went in on a plane ticket pretty much for me to go visit Ray. So I went and visited him for Thanksgiving. And I remember, like, the moment I saw him, it just felt like lightning bolts had hit me. Like, I was like, yep, it's going to be you. Like, because him and I had kind of talked about marriage and things like that beforehand, and, like, kids and things like that. But, like, you know, it's kind of like you wait to be in person. But it's like the moment I saw him, I knew he was going to be my husband. I just knew it, you know. And it was really cute because he wanted to ask me to be his girlfriend in person. And I remember on the plane ride over, I was like, I wonder how he's going to do it. Like, part of me feels like he's going to hold up a sign at the airport or something like that. And then that's what he did. Like, when I went, like, up. So I flew into the Atlanta airport because that's, like, where my airline had to fly in. So he had drove, like, 4 hours to come pick me up. And then 4.5. And then I, like, go up the escalator, and I see him standing, like, right at the top. And then he was holding this sign that says Hannah P, because, you know, like, my maiden name is Parvi. So he said, Hannah P, like, will you be my girlfriend? And he had flowers, and it was so cute. Like, it was so cute. Drove back, and at first we were really shy, like, both of us, because it was like your first time meeting in person, you know what I mean? And then it was, like, really quick, like, because then we had 4 hours back to Fort Stewart, and everything too. So it's like you kind of have some time to talk. And it was just like, he was just so much more handsome in person than he was over FaceTime. I remember that. And his eyes, oh my goodness, like, yeah, he's just so cute. So like a couple weeks later, he was going to be flying home for Christmas. And I went there for Thanksgiving, and he came to Oregon for Christmas. And before he had flown out, like all my friend from work, her name is Hillary, and she's one of my best friends. And she kept saying, like, oh, I bet you Ray's going to propose on block leave. Because her story of how she met her husband is very similar to Ray and I-ish. Like, not, like, exactly, but, like, he was in the Army. Like, you know, they had grown up together, and then they, like, went on a couple, like, 3 dates or something. And then they, like, got engaged and got married. So it was kind of, like, really quick. So that was kind of, like, the same with Ray and I. But anyway, she kept saying, like, oh, yeah, I bet you he's going to propose. And I was telling him and stuff. And he was like, oh, you know, like, that's kind of funny. And I was like, yeah. And then I remember, like, my flowers, like, that he had gave me at the airport, I really wanted to keep, like, forever. Because I'm a very sentimental person when it comes to stuff like that. So I wanted to keep them. And then someone had accidentally thrown them away when he was helping Hill, my best friend, my best friend now, but at the time they were best friends. Anyways, she was moving houses on post, and he was helping her move and, like, clean and stuff. And he was, like, walking around, and we were talking, and then I was so bummed that someone threw away those flowers. Like, I was genuinely sad. Like, to my core, I was sad. And then he's like, you know, do you want to know something that'll cheer you up? And I was like, what? And then he was like, something about, like, you know, that there might be a chance that I'm going to propose, or, like, I was asking, like, something about him proposing on block leave, and I remember him telling me that he was going to, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, I gotta get my nails done, like, you know, all these different things, like, the things, like, as a female, like, you think about, you know, and then I was like, okay, like, because we were trying to talk about, like, dates of us getting married, too, and, like, I was like, well, what if, we're trying to figure out dates, because originally we were planning on getting married in Georgia first, and then having a ceremony in Oregon, like, second. And then I was like, you know, we're talking about different dates, and I was like, what if Hill was pregnant at the time? So, like, that kind of threw off some of our dates. Hill was pregnant, so that threw off some dates. She was doing it at the very beginning of February, so, like, the 2-week window before and after kind of, like, eliminated some potential dates. And then I was like, you know, this might sound crazy, but like, what if we got married on block leave? And he was like, I mean, we could, you know. And then I was like, you know, I would just drive back with you at the end of block leave, and I would just move to Georgia. I'd give my 2 weeks notice at my job, and yeah, I mean, we just go back together. He's like, you know, and we had kind of joked about that, like, when I was there for Thanksgiving, like, you know, me not going back home, and then us just driving back and forth, like, on block leave and stuff like that, and staying together. But then I, like, proposed, and he was like, yeah, like, why not, you know? Like, forget it. Like, let's do it, you know? So I was like, okay. And then my family had 5 days notice of our wedding. My stepmom, like, as soon as I told her, she just went into wedding planning mode, and she planned the heck out of that wedding, like, in the 5 days that she had. It was awesome. Like, she did an amazing job. It looked like, you know, we'd spent way more time than, like, 5 days planning it. And then there's a community center that the property company that I worked for managed at one of the on-site properties. So we used their community center. They let us use it for free. And then my family went in and decorated. And then, all right. So then Ray and I got married, and we packed up my car, and I moved back to Georgia with him. And then I've been here ever since, and it's been like 8 months of us living together in Georgia. And then we ended up getting our dog Cash, and Cash is a Husky Pit Bull mix. He is one of the loves of my life. And then I went home and visited in May, and then we brought June back because my mom's dog had puppies. So we brought June back, and she's a golden doodle. And you see them at the end, like my little outro thing is of Cash and June. Yeah, that's pretty much how I met my husband. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below video requests like I said. And then, sorry, my dogs want to be let in from outside. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.